when we know the tattva. I'm going to share it and then yeah. Harivenu Prabhu, thank you, Prabhu, for your invisible streamlining. Thank you, Prabhu. So I'll bring up the screen. The PowerPoint presentation. Yes. Are you able to see it now, Abhinay? Not yet. Huh? Are you able to see this now? Right. Thank you. And thank you for joining in invocation prayers and everything. It's like we are doing this together. When we are speaking Katha, when we are hearing Katha, we are doing this together. Yagna together. Thank you. So I'm gonna change this to slideshow presentation. Okay. Yeah. So that's Lord Balaram. Besides Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Balaram, the original Bhakta Avatara. This is so beautiful. So beautiful. It's like wearing the transcendental glasses on when we know the tattva. This is what we are going to talk. We will talk about multiple subtopics. So first, we will talk about the tattva of Balarama, the rasa of Balarama, and expansions of Lord Balaram, and how is Lord Balaram helping us in our devotional service, some pastimes of Lord Balaram, and Lord Balaram in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all of these. So we will discuss that today. Shri Balaram Prabhu. So Tattva and Rasa, as we discussed before, Tattva Jnana is a very much needed foundation for Bhakti. When Tattva is strong, when the foundation is strong, then the temple of Rasa can be built in Bhakti. Bhakti is about spiritual emotions, very purified spiritual emotions between the Bhagavan and Bhakta. And those emotions can be purified when we have Tattva Jnana. Yeah? So Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Janma karma cha me divyam yomam veti tattvataha kyatva punarjanmaneiti mamsoiti Arjuna. So whoever knows me in tattva, then Arjuna, then he would not have rebirth. So knowing about Krishna can be, just seeing him in some serial. Somebody shows some serial or makes a movie out of Krishna, or somebody says something. That is also knowing something about Krishna. But how authentic is that? How purifying it is to us when we hear some information about Krishna from anyone or from anywhere. Is it going to have same purifying effect? Is it going to have that kind of effect as Lord Krishna is promising in Bhagavad Gita? Tyaktva deha punarjanmana iti. You will not get rebirth if you know me in tattva. So that kind of effect, how would we know? How would we get that? That tattva jnana is available through parampara.
Mataji?
So, yes, Prabhu.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Go ahead.
How do you define the word tattva in like a English or some state one?
Philosophy,
like
Prabhu. Philosophy.
Okay, just philosophy or the okay.
Philosophy, fundamental principles, and philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah. So tattva is philosophy. Yeah. Rasa is emotion, tattva is philosophy. Yeah. So if we do not know the philosophy of absolute truth or tattva of Lord Krishna, then the purification does not happen within us. And there are many people who know about Krishna in India, right? Watching some movie and here and there. They continue to remain the same material contamination. Why is it like that? Because we have not known completely about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the knowledge, the philosophy of the absolute truth. So that we want to know. Then on the same note, what is Tattva of Balaram? What we know so far is Balaram is the older brother of Krishna. That's it. What Tattva do we know about Balaram? What difference is there between a devotee and somebody else on the street in India who knows that Balaram is also a brother of Krishna? That's all right. That's just general information. So that's why it is important for us to know the tattva or philosophy of each spiritual personality, as a matter of fact. And as we were discussing the other day, the main tattvas are Bhagavad Tattva, yeah? Guru Tattva. Akhanda Guru Tattva is Balaram. Okay? And Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Gaura Tattva. These are all tattvas. Maya, right? Maya Tattva means fundamental understanding and philosophy. Philosophy behind the fundamental principles is called Tattva. Now coming to Balaram Tattva today. Sri Balaram. When Lord Krishna, the absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead, wants to serve himself in all rasas possible, then that is Balarama. And that is on the plane of rasas. But coming to Tattva, Balarama is Sandhini Shakti. See, Lord Krishna, Bhagavan, has three categories in internal Shakti. He actually has three varieties of Shakti. One is internal potency, one is marginal potency, and the other one is external potency. In this internal potency, there are three categories. One is Sandhini Shakti and Samvit Shakti, and the other one is Ahladini Shakti. Ahlada is bliss. So Ahladini Shakti. Okay. So we are talking about the Sandhini Shakti of the internal potency. That's Sri Balaram, Sandhini Shakti. And when we go a little deeper, we will understand that Sandhini Shakti is the basis of Samvit Shakti and Ahladini Shakti. We'll explain that later, but we'll focus more on Sandhini Shakti now. That's Balaram. Sandhini Shakti means existential potency. Means whatever that is existing in the spiritual world, or as a matter of fact, in the material world also, is because of Balaram. How is that? We will see. See, Sandhini Shakti in the spiritual world. Spiritual world is Vaikunta, Raja, right? So in Vrindavana, Vraja, there Dham is there. So Vrindavan is Dham. Dham is a place. So the whole place is the manifestation of Balaram. The place and the people in the place. Those are all the associates of Lord Krishna. They are also manifestation of Balaram. It is said that Yashodamai, Nanda Baba, the Gopas, and there is a division of Gopis, and all the jivas that are present in there who are Nitya Muktas. means eternally liberated. Souls that are associates of Krishna are actually emanating from Sri Balaram. So the Dham Vasis, when Dham is there, Dham Vasis are there, and Bhagavan is there in the Dham, what will happen? Dham Vasis will understand they will have the knowledge of Bhagavan, the cognizance of Bhagavan. See, in case of Brajabhumi, all the residents of Vrindavan, they are very much aware of sweetness of Krishna. There are 64 qualities of Krishna, right? And 4 of them are very specific to Lord Krishna. Rupa Madhuri, Guna Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, and Rupa, Guna, Leela, and the associates also that are always there with Krishna. So these are 4 qualities that are specific for Lord Krishna, and there are other 60 qualities also. So all these Vrajavasis, they may be aware of the other 60 qualities also, but specifically they are aware of these 4 things. They can perceive it, they can relish it. So that being aware of something about Bhagavan is called cognizance or Samvit Shakti. Yeah, the understanding of what Lord Krishna means, his qualities means, that understanding, knowledge, cognizance is called Samvit Shakti. Okay? And when that reciprocation, Leela, goes between the devotee Bhakta and Bhagavan, there is some bliss that is experienced by the devotee. Right? This is called Pibhanti Bhakti Rasa. They drink that nectar. They experience some joy in reciprocation with Bhagavan. So that joy that they experience is because of Ahladini Shakti. Ahlada is joy. Okay. So Ahladini Shakti and Samvit Shakti, everything is present because of Sandhini, because of the Dham. This is why Balaram or Sandhini Shakti is the root cause or fundamental principle on which Samvit Shakti or knowledge about Bhagavan happens, and Ahladini Shakti, the bliss of reciprocating with Bhagavan, happens. That is Sandhini Shakti of Lord Balaram. That is Dham, Dhamvasis, and Leelas. So, and that is about the existential potency. Not only that, Lord Balaram, we will see in the next slide, how he himself becomes into 10 personalities to serve Lord Krishna. Yeah, so maybe we can go to that slide and come back to the rasa. So in Sandhini Shakti, we have explained so far about Dham, how Lord Balaram becomes the Dham Vasis, and Leelas, from which Samvit Shakti and Ahladini Shakti also comes. So these are the other 10 manifestations of Lord Balaram. In the spiritual world, nothing is a thing. Everything is a person. And everything has a feeling, because everything is a person. Yeah. So if we see the list here, Lord Balaram, he's becoming a Shayana, the bed of Krishna, couch of Krishna, Asana, seat of Krishna, Upadana, pillow of Krishna, Chatra, umbrella of Krishna, Chamara, peacock feather of Krishna, so Krishna can be fanned. And Vyajana is, york tail, when we do the Aarti, we see the white one. White one is the white one is the chamara, and Vyajana is the peacock one. Okay. So Balaram becomes both Vyajana and chamara. Then Vasana. Vasana are clothes, garments of Krishna, Pitambara. Right? Bhushana, ornaments of Krishna. Paduka, the footwear of Lord Krishna. Yajna Sutra, the Brahmin thread of Lord Krishna. So Balaram, embodies himself in this different paraphernalia. So each paraphernalia is Balaram's extension that Krishna has upon him. So this is how Lord Balaram is everywhere in Dham. He is Dham, he is Dhamvasis, he is the cause of Leelas that are happening, and he is everywhere on Krishna. From the top, that is umbrella, to the bottom, that is Paduka. Right? That's Lord Balaram. And also, Bhakta Abhimana Moola. See, we all of us in this material world, by default, we have this false ego. False ego means, by default, the thought is, I am doing this, this is mine. It's just our default. We try hard to Krishnaize it, but by our default thing is that's just the false ego. Because from Mahavishnu, when Shambhu comes from Mahavishnu, yeah, that is the element of false ego. That is Shambhu interacting with Prakriti, and then Ahankara comes. That's where we are getting that false ego. So our software is basically polluted like that for us. False ego is like that. But if we trace back even before that, where is the Shambhu coming from? From Mahavishnu. Who is Mahavishnu? Expansion of Mahasankarshana. Who is Mahasankarshana? Expansion of Mula Sankarshana. Who is Mula Sankarshana? Expansion of Balaram. Balaram is the cause of real ego. Bhakta Abhimana Mula. Shambhu is the cause of false ego. And we will discuss that in detail also about the expansions. But this is how everybody in Vrindavan, by default, their software is, I am Krishna's. I am Krishna's mother. I am Krishna's father. I am Krishna's friend. I want to do this for Krishna. Their software is wonderful. No virus there. So non-viral software is Bhakta Abhimana Mula. They very blissfully feel and know that they are, somehow related with Krishna. And all they want to see is Krishna's happiness. That is real ego, Bhakta Abhimana Mula. And that is by the influence of Sri Balaram. That's one more function of his. That's about Tattva so far. And coming to the Rasa. Rasa is reciprocations, right? So, Balarama, what we said was, when Krishna wants to serve himself in all the rasas, and I was hearing the Katha today, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was described, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, when Lord Krishna's desire to experience the happiness of what it means to serve himself in all the rasas, when his desire boils like that, and the description was given, how is that boiling of the desire? When the rice is cooked, at the very end, when the rice gets cooked, thud, 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 thud sound comes, right? Wherein here and there a bubble literally just blows up like that, the hot bubble. So even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he uses these words, thud, 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 thud. And Maharaj was explaining why those words are used like that. So Krishna was feeling that much. He was bubbling like that, with intense desire to experience that happiness of serving himself in all these rasas. That's how Balaram came. So Lord Balaram is none other than Krishna, in the sense he's a supreme servitor. And Krishna wants to serve himself in all the rasas, then that's Lord Balaram. So how is he serving Lord Balaram? How is he serving Krishna? That's mainly by Sakhya Rasa. Sakhya is friendship, but his friendship is mixed with two mellows. Sometimes Dasya, serving Krishna, sometimes instructing Krishna how to steal butter. So that is also one kind of instruction and training. But when he takes the role of protecting Krishna, instructing Krishna, then there is Vatsalya Rasa. So his Sakhya is mixed with Dasya and Vatsalya. And he is also expanding as Ananga Manjari in Madhurya Rasa. And the fourth one, Shanta Rasa is not really active. There's no active reciprocation in Shanta Rasa. That's why these four rasas are considered. Sakhya, Dasya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. That's one explanation. But some of the acharyas, they say everything in Vrindavan is Madhurya, is sweetness. That's one more explanation. But to explain about the rasa of Balaram, so these are the rasas that Lord Balaram is assisting in serving Lord Krishna. Okay, so that's about the tattva of Lord Balaram and rasa of Lord Balaram. And now coming to the expansions of Lord Balaram. You will see Lord Balaram, how he is present everywhere, starting from the spiritual world to the material world, everywhere, getting everything ready for Lord Krishna to have his pastimes. Present above Krishna, in between, below, and everywhere for Krishna, so he can have his pastimes. And this question was asked before also about the expansions. This is discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita also in detail. And this is a good time for us to go through this. Okay. Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. Right? So Balaram is in Vrindavan as cowherd boy is Lord Balaram. From Lord Balaram comes Moola Sankarshana. When Balaram has to go to Madhura and Dwaraka to accompany Lord Krishna, that is Moola Sankarshana, expansion of Balaram. So all the Leelas in Mathura and Dwaraka are Moola Sankarshana, expansion of Balarama. Balarama is always a cowherd boy. And if Balaram is appearing to have some Kshatriya pastimes, as in Madhura and Dwaraka, yeah, that is the Moola Sankarshana, expansion of Balaram. That's in Braja, Madhura, and Dwaraka. Okay. Now, coming to Vaikunta. So, Moola Sankarshana in Dwaraka expands as Mahasankarshana in Vaikunta. This Mahasankarshana in Vaikunta, he becomes the again the bed of Narayana, the pillow of Narayana, same thing. This Mahasankarshana in Vaikunta, then he is expanding himself as Karnodakasai Vishnu or Mahavishnu. This Mahavishnu is called Prakriti Antaryami because Mahavishnu glances at Prakriti as Shambhu. Yeah, that's why he's called Prakriti Antaryami. And Antaryami is all pervading. So he is all pervading throughout the material universes, all material universes. That's Karnodakasai Vishnu. And from Karnodakasai Vishnu comes Garbhodakasai Vishnu. He is called Brahmanda Antaryami because he is all pervading throughout the Brahmanda, throughout each universe. All universes is Karnodakasai Vishnu. Each universe is Garbhodakasai Vishnu. From Garbhodakasai Vishnu comes Kshirodakasai Vishnu. He's called Jiva Antaryami because this is the expansion of Lord Balaram that is present in all the Jivas as Paramatma. I know we must be thinking, what? We thought Paramatma is Krishna. Again, no big difference between Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna wants to serve himself immensely. That's Paramatma. But that Kshirodakasai Vishnu is Jivantaryami Paramatma. So these are the expansions of Lord Balaram. This is why in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, right? When we desire something, even before we desire, Paramatma knows. And then the same Paramatma comes externally as Guru. So Adi Guru, Akhanda Guru, Balarama, who is expanding himself as Mula Sankarshana, Maha Sankarshana, Karnodakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, Kshirodakasai Vishnu, if he has to help us to get back to the spiritual realm, back to Godhead, then he has to appear as Shri Guru in front of us to give us the instructions of how we can get back to the spiritual world. Inside out, look at the help that we are getting. Lord Krishna expanding as Balaram and all these expansions until the Paramatma to Shri Guru outside. Isn't that help inside and out? How much is Krishna wanting us to reciprocate with him, to get back to him, to the spiritual realm? So those are the expansions of Lord Balaram. And this we will see now. We're talking about Paramatma, right? As devotees, the moment we heard something about bhakti through one of the devotees that gave us the book or a bit of prasadam or some information or took us to the temple, the moment we heard that, the first touch of bhakti in our life is the arrangement of Shri Balaram. And then when that gets condensed to the desire of, I want to take up this process of bhakti. This is my anchor and shelter. I want to have that shelter day after day, moment after moment. That intense desire is because of Shri Balaram. And after taking that shelter, what am I doing taking the shelter in bhakti? Taking Diksha in bhakti? What kind of service am I offering? I have to do something about this. So that desire to do service in spiritual life is because of Balaram sitting inside. And when we have that desire, itna tadpate hai na, I want to do something about this, Krishna, please help me. Then when we get some inspiration from within to do service, and when we receive some inspiration from outside through the devotees and Shastra, all that inspiration is because of Sri Balaram. Okay, we have the desire now, not that we have it, that is kindled, and we have the inspiration. I need the strength, Krishna. Please, I need the strength to do this service properly. These modes are hitting in and out all the time. Please give me the strength to stay steadily, to serve you nicely. Yeah. So that Bala that we need to walk or run or, to go for championship, all that is Bala, that is muscle strength. Yeah. And the spiritual strength here is the Bala of the spiritual qualities. Yeah. Only with the spiritual qualities, the Vaishnava qualities, we get the spiritual strength. And the ability to do the service properly, the quality of the service to do properly, the mood of the service to do properly. All this is from Sri Balaram. And as we do the service, as we want to do the service, and as we're doing the service, as things are falling in place in our service, the external arrangements that are being made is by Sri Balaram. Like, in Vrindavan, as we just discussed, all the arrangements are made, the leelas, they happen they happen on the strength of the spiritual dham. In the same way, for us also, when we are doing services, whatever that is falling in place for our services to go on is because of Lord Balaram. And not only outside for the things to fall in place, but as we just discussed, for the things to fall in place inside. It's very important. What does it mean for the things to fall in place inside? It's a purification, right? Anardhanivritti. That anardhanivritti, to clean the field. Lord Balaram, he holds plow. Plow is to take off the weeds. Only when the weeds are taken off and the field is made ready, we can sow the seeds of bhakti. Like that, Balaram is Haladhara. Haladhara. Hala is plow. Dhara is one who wears, right? So Lord Balaram starts the purification. Weeds off, plucks the weed one after the other, one after the other. All those weeds that we do not need, but we don't want to let them go. Because we have had it for such a long time. And even if we want to let them go, it's not easy to tolerate. बहुत ज़्यादा pain भी होता है, right? We need some anesthesia also when the surgery is happening. That also he gives. So he does all that weeding process, the cleaning process. So Krishna can come and sit in our heart and sing the flute song. That's why Lord Balaram appearance is first. So he can clean our hearts. So Lord Krishna comes, appears on Janmashtami to sing a flute song. This is how Lord Balaram cleans our heart, internal purification. So that's why Lord Balaram. Nityanandaram is expansion. It's not expansion, he is Balaram. So that's the arrangements externally. and internally. And most often, we may see in bhakti ki, I have the spiritual desire, I want to do this, but I don't see that there are, things are conducive. Things are not falling in place outside. Is Krishna not responding to my prayers? Itna pukarin. Why can't he engage me in this service in this specific way? So we have our own way of how we want to do the service. Kaise karna hai aisa, but that is also there in our application. And then we'll be thinking, Krishna, I have this desire to do the service, Krishna, but there doesn't seem to be any cooperation outside. And things don't seem to line up well. And in the life too, kabhi-kabhi aise challenging hota hai. Even to practice bhakti. Forget about doing some physical services, even to practice bhakti. Then why is that happening, and how do we understand that? If things are not happening outside, in spite of our prayers, then Lord Krishna is working inside of us as Balaram to bring some change there. So if we don't see the change happening outside, and if we are praying, then there is some change happening inside. Lord Krishna is trying to bring some change inside. And we will notice when that internal change starts to happen, then externally all the changes will take place. And Lord Balaram, Krishna, will take us to that point where we are not really afflicted or we are not affected, even if external things are not falling in place. If we are having that internal change. So internal arrangement, internal change is very important and crucial. So this is something that we want to remember. If we don't see that things are changing externally, maybe Lord Krishna is trying to change something internally for us. If we remember this, 50% of the problem is solved. If we embrace this fact that Lord Krishna is doing it for my good, or Balaram is doing it for my good, then that's 100% problem solved. That's part of Sharanagati, right? If we are embracing it as Krishna's arrangement and happily accepting it. So that's about the internal purification by Lord Balaram. Yeah, as that internal purification happens, Lord Krishna is on his way into our heart with his flute so he can sing a song in our heart. So that's internal purification. And as the progress happens like that in bhakti, purification happens like that in bhakti. And when we embrace that purification, which is a part of spiritual journey, if we resist it, it's just going to delay our progress. If we embrace it, it's just going to make our progress faster, right? Yeah, embracing it is Sharanagati, taking that as Krishna's arrangement. So when the spiritual progress and purification happens like that, in the spiritual journey from sadhusanga to further, then gradually, as this purification happens, as we just mentioned, then Lord Krishna, with his internal energy, Srimati Radharani, is perceived in the heart. So all this can happen from A to Z in bhakti because of Lord Balaram. That's Lord Balaram. That's Balaram in our life, sadhaka's life. Now, coming to the Katha, quick Katha on the appearance of Lord Krishna and the role of Lord Balaram here. This is very much pertinent to both Balaram Jayanti, Balaram Purnima, and Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Okay, you might have heard this. In Mother Devaki's womb, there were 6 sons that were born, right? And Kamsa killed all those 6 sons. So who were those 6 sons? Those 6 sons were materially their sons of Marichi Muni. And in their previous life, they are sons of Marichi. They ended up in the womb of Devaki. Yeah? And we will come to know that the womb of Devaki is not an ordinary place because it's a place for Shuddha Sattva, where Krishna has appeared. Then the question is, if it is not an ordinary place, a Shuddha Sattva place, how come these material sons of Marichi Muni came into that womb? Then the answer to that is, this information is all from Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas, yeah, and Gopalachandra. So how come these material sons, Marichi Muni sons, they entered into the womb of Devaki? When Mother Devaki's womb is considered as source of Shuddha Sattva, where Lord Krishna appeared. The answer is in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Matsthani sarva bhutani natvaham tesho. Matsthani sarva bhutani. All these living entities, sarva bhutani, matsthani, they're just resting on me. See, at the end of the life of Brahma, all the living entities that are present, they go to Mahavishnu. They rest on the body of Mahavishnu. It doesn't mean they're getting liberated. They're just resting on the body of Mahavishnu. And when there is birth of other Brahma, and when all the Brahmanda is available, then these souls will be given bodies and some place in Brahmanda. Okay? So those jivas who are still conditioned, they were just resting on Mahavishnu. Just because these conditioned souls are resting on Mahavishnu, we don't see that Mahavishnu got contaminated. He still remains transcendental. He is not touched by the conditioned jiva. He is beyond the modes. In the same way, Acharyas explain, though these 6 sons of Marichi who took birth again in the womb of Devaki, though they are not transcendental, they are just touching the womb of Mother Devaki. But they are not contaminating the womb of Mother Devaki, as a conditioned soul does not contaminate the Mahavishnu at the time of Pralaya. So that's the explanation of how these material sons can even come into the womb of Mother Devaki. Of course, these material sons, they were killed by Kamsa, and when they were killed, they were sent to Sutala. Sutala is one of the lower planetary systems. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So they were sent to the Sutala planet. When later, when Lord Krishna and Balaram comes and visits Mother Devaki, she requests that those 6 sons are brought back. So Lord Krishna and Balaram goes to Sutala and brings those 6 sons back. Okay. And there's a pastime that is mentioned. Again, this is all in Gopal Champu, not found in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mother Devaki, Lord Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki. Lord Krishna was given birth by Mother Yashoda also. For those who are hearing it for the first time, this can be like, I didn't hear this before. Yes, it's because it's present in Gopal Champu. It's very nicely explained with all the pramana. But it's a topic on its own, so we will just park that topic. Pertaining to our topic here, Lord Krishna, Mother Devaki did not breastfeed Lord Krishna. It's Mother Yashoda that did that. So Mother Devaki wanted to breastfeed also her children. So when these children are brought back from Sutala, since Lord Krishna is the youngest son when compared to the 6 sons, Lord Krishna honors the breast milk of Mother Devaki. And after that, the 6 children that were brought from Sutala, then they take the breast milk of Mother Devaki. Because they got the milk of Mother Devaki that is purified by the touch of Lord Krishna, they were delivered and they were sent to heavenly planets. And we may think, oh my, just heavenly planets only? Why didn't they go back to Godhead? The Jiva has the desire to go back to Godhead. These were sons of Marichi Muni in the previous life. So their desire was just to go there. They went there. And maybe when they meet Shuddha Bhakta, then their desire will change. And then they will be able to go to Raja. Okay. So that's about the 6 sons. Yeah. The 7th pregnancy is, it appeared as a miscarriage for Mother Devaki. But what happened was, Rohini Nandana, Balarama, Balaram that's present in Mother Rohini's womb that was present in Vrindavan, came and cleansed the womb of Mother Devaki, prepared the womb of Mother Devaki, so Krishna can appear as a 8th child there. So that's how Balaram came and prepared the womb of Mother Devaki, so Lord Krishna can appear there. Here, there is one more import with the 6 sons of Marichi Muni. These 6 sons are compared to the 6 senses. 6 senses, and pulling for those 6 senses should be killed. These external pullings should be killed, should be cut off for us to progress internally, rapidly. That is the import of this Leela. The 6 sons of Marichi Muni, one is Sparsha, touch. They represent Sparsha, touch, Shabda, hearing, Rupa is image, Rasa, taste, Gandha, smell, and the 6th one is mind. So 5 senses plus 1 mind, 6 senses, right? So the pulling of the 6 senses to interact with things externally should be cut off, should be killed. So we may be able to go into Smarana of Krishna easily and stay steadily there. So that's why this Leela, 6 sons of Marichi Muni, and the 6 senses, that is the 5 senses plus mind, all these 6 senses have to be controlled, or the pulling should be cut off or killed to make spiritual progress. Again, Rasovai, even though we have the pulling for sense gratification or external pulling for the senses. Raso, why? If we have internal taste, internal pulling for bhakti from those people, from those acharyas who has that internal pulling, then it is easy for us to get out of that external pulling. This is in 3rd chapter, Lord Krishna says, though you have inclination for sense gratification, though there is a desire for sense gratification, people still can go for, they can turn internally because they have higher taste. So I'm unable to recall that, but because of that higher taste, we will have strength to resist this external pulling. Yeah, so that is pertaining to this Leela here. And Kamsa is considered as Bhaya Avatara. Devaki is Bhakta Avatara. Kamsa is Bhaya Avatara because he was always in Bhaya. Why was he in Bhaya? Because he was focusing on Krishna as a killer, right? So the time element of Lord Krishna, he was focusing on that, he's going to come kill me. He's going to come kill me he's going to come kill me, extinguish me. So the time factor was causing fear in Kamsa. Time factor of the absolute truth, Lord Krishna, was causing fear in Kamsa. And the very same time factor, Kamsa, has killed all these 6 senses, 6 sons of Marichi. And the import is again, over a period of time in our spiritual journey, over a period of time, the time factor of Lord Krishna. In the spiritual journey, all these external pullings, 6 senses pullings are killed over a period of time by the influence of Balaram. And Balaram prepares our heart as he prepared the womb of Mother Devaki. So Lord Krishna appeared as 8th son of Mother Devaki. So Lord Krishna can appear with his internal potency as Srimati Radharani in our heart. That is Vishuddha Sattva. Lord Krishna with Srimati Radharani appearing in our heart is Vishuddha Sattva. So this purification takes on throughout the process of bhakti. But throughout the sadhana bhakti, purification gradually takes place. It's more during Anartha Nivritti and a little left over in Nishta, not so much in Ruchi, a very little in Asakti. In Bhava, it is only Vasana of Anarthas. Yeah. In Bhava, the devotees are too much absorbed in the Bhava of Krishna. They have no thought of Anarthas. They are incapable of doing any Anarthas. But the Vasana, trace of it that was done before, that might be present. So, in the stage of Bhava, the Vishuddha Sattva descends. That is the distinguishing feature of sadhana bhakti, distinguishing feature from sadhana bhakti. Because in Bhava Bhakti, when somebody comes to Bhava stage, Vishuddha Shakti descends. This is when a devotee would know what their Swarupa also, because the Shuddha Sattva is descending. Yeah. And all this is happening because Balaram has cleared all, the weeds in the heart and progressed us from sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya to all these stages and brought us till the asakti. And then next stage is bhava. That's when Vishuddha Sakti descends in a very tangible way, because they would know their identity also, their spiritual identity in bhava bhakti. Yeah. So that's about Lord Balaram. And small information about the names of Lord Balaram is when Garga Muni came, in the name giving ceremony, he was given the name Rama. Rama is Ramanti, deriving pleasure. He's deriving pleasure by giving us spiritual strength. Isn't that wonderful? So wherever he is, then everybody feels like doing service to Krishna, pleasing Krishna. But just by looking at that, he derives pleasure. Rama. Yeah. Sankarshana. Akarshana is Yogamaya has attracted the Balaram back to the womb of Mother Rohini, right? After cleansing the womb of Mother Devaki. So that's why he's called Sankarshana. Balabhadra. Srimad Bhagavatam has said that Balochayet Balabhadra. What is the limit of the Bala, strength of Lord Balaram? Him being the Dham, wherein Lord Krishna is residing, and all the Leelas are taking place, from which Samvit Shakti and Ahladini Shakti is also imbibed. Starting from there in the spiritual world, coming through all the way, Mathura, Dwaraka, Vaikunta, Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu as Paramatma, and as this material world, everywhere, all this existence is because of Balaram, both spiritual and material. What to speak of his Bala? And the strength of Balabhadra is, see, we have talked about the strength in terms of existential potency, both as Dham and also material realm. But Balabhadra, because of his Dasya and Sakya and Vatsalya and Madhurya, all rasas mixed in there, that he can serve Krishna with. All these jivas, all those Vrajavasis who have Dasya Bhava are from Lord Balaram, who has Sakya Bhava are from Lord Balaram, who has Vatsalya Bhava are from Lord Balaram, who has Madhurya Bhava. Yeah, there are many gopis with Madhurya Bhava. They are also from Lord Balaram. So, talking about Lord Balaram's strength, both in terms of the jivas, to reciprocate for the leelas with Bhagavan, and the existential potency as Dham in spiritual world, and as these material worlds, so we can get out of this karma, do some service, and go back to spiritual realm. And as the strength from within as Paramatma, and as a direction and strength from outside as Guru, where is he not? What is he not? Yeah? And what is it that he's not doing? That's why he's Balabhadra. Yeah. I think this part we have already discussed. And this is also we have discussed. The last one is a little bit about the pastimes. So Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, Lord Balaram and Krishna, I'll tell you this pastime, very sweet ones. Can you guess how the land in Vrindavan is? Is it dry with cracks? No, not really. And is it just a little powdery? No, not really. It is wet. Why is it wet? Because little Krishna and Balaram in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, when they play, with their very soft feet, they go to the cows and calves that are present in the pasture grounds, and they touch the cattle there, the cows and calves. Because they're filled of so much of bliss, the mother cows, out of their affection, their milk bags, they get full and the milk overflows and the ground is all wet. Okay, so the ground is all wet with the milk, and of course the description is given there with the urine also, but because they are all transcendental jivas, so with all this, the ground is all wet and also fragrant. And little Krishna and Balaram, they make balls out of this and they play with that clay, with that wet mud. Yeah, and they hold the tails of the calves and cows, and they run around in the pasture grounds. And it's also said that Lord Balaram taught Krishna, because he's Adi Guru, he taught Krishna how to steal butter. Yeah, so those were some of the Leelas. And in the Damodar Leela, Balaram was not present during that time. So after Mother Yashoda comes and ties up Lord Krishna, then Balaram comes. That's it. Hey, Kanu, see, I was not there with you, and that's why this has happened. If I were there, then you wouldn't have gotten into trouble. So that's one more Leela, where the Sakya is filled with Vatsalya Rasa there. So few pastimes of Lord Krishna and Balaram. In the last note, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are many meanings that are given by our acharyas about Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One of them is, Hare is Srimati Radharani, internal energy of Lord, who is Ahladini Shakti. I have to, yeah, that's Ahladini Shakti. You see here, Radharani is Ahladini Shakti. Krishna is Samvit Shakti. Yeah, Samvit. There has to be M here. And Rama is Balarama here, which is Sandhini Shakti. So, in the Sandhini Shakti, in the Dham, Lord Krishna and his internal potency, Srimati Radharani, are perceived with their pastimes. That is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this is how the Guru Tattva, Akhanda Guru Tattva, is inseparable. Inseparable with the mantra and with us also. The meaning that is given by Srila Prabhupada to us is Hare, O internal energy of Srimati Radha, O internal energy of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani. Yeah? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So please engage me in the service of Lord Krishna. That's the meaning that's given to us by Srila Prabhupada. And that holds good for us in the sadhaka stage and in sadhya stage also. And this is just one more explanation where Rama is seen as Sandhini Shakti. That's about Hare Krishna Mantra. That's it. So that's about Lord Balaram. Is the Tattva of Lord Balaram. Dham, Dhamvasis, Leelas, the 10 personifications that decorate Lord Krishna's transcendental body and serve Lord Krishna's transcendental body. And he's the source of our real ego, Bhakta Abhimanam. The rasas of Lord Balaram, all 4 of them. Expansions of Lord Balaram. Balarama Mula Sankarshana, Maha Sankarshana, Karanodakasai, Garbhodakasai, Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Lord Balaram in our life from the beginning to the end, A to Z and in between. The 6 sons of Mother Devaki, how these 6 sons are killed over a period of time by the influence of Balaram, and how Balaram prepares our heart as he does the womb of Mother Devaki, so Lord Krishna can enter into our heart, perceive in our heart. These are the names of Lord Balaram, and pastimes of Lord Balaram with Krishna and Lord Balaram in Hare Krishna. I'm going to pause here. Thank you all so much for your patience, and thank you for the question in the very beginning. Nitai Guru Manaprabhu, Tattva is philosophy. I'll close this slide. Yes, please. Rajesh Kumar Prabhu, Hare Krishna, just close this slide. Welcome to you. Good to have you here today. Yeah, all of you, please, it's your turn, so I can take some points home.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think, thank you for explaining, from all the way from Krishna to how Balram is coming into our life and everything. I think one key point for me was about how Balram is trying to clean us out for Krishna to sit in our hearts. I think that was one big takeaway, that, if things don't fall outside, then it still needs to be worked internally, which indirectly, I think, is Balram is doing that part to making sure that we are doing our part to clean it out, and Balram is helping us either through our internal, looking at us internally, or through Guru helping us go through that process. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. And when you said we are doing our part internally is important, Prabhu. In the pastimes, in Lord Krishna's and Balaram pastimes, there is a pastime for Dhenukasura, Prabhu. And in that, the explanation is given by Acharyas. Unless we are willing to get these weeds out, they are not taken out. So unless we are putting effort and we are willing to do it, then the another nivritti would not happen because we are not willing. So it's going to take its own time. So yes, Prabhu, that willingness from our side is also important.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you very much for this nice class.
Thank you.
Mataji, I had a couple of questions. One, you had mentioned that all the Vrajavasis are Nitya Muktas, and the Nitya Muktas are originating from Balram. So now when we say that all the Vrajavasis, that means everybody residing in Vraja are considered Nitya Muktas?
Actually, the main personalities, yes, like Nanda, Yashoda, like that. But there are, in gopis, there are different categories of gopis, Mataji. Like internal, the Ashtasakis are the expansions of Srimati Radharani. Yeah. So like that, there are different categories of gopis. And the last category is Sanchari gopis. See, for example, all those sages in Naimisharanya who perfected their lives and wanted absolute the Vasudeva, Lord Krishna as their husband, then they took birth in Vraja as gopis. So they are perfected ones, not eternally liberated. Yeah. So they belong to a different category. But most of them who are eternal associates, have been eternal associates, are from Balabhadra.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yes. And Mataji, one more thing, our Swarupa is revealed in the stage of Bhava. Is
Yes,
that it's during Bhava stage?
Yes.
Okay.
By the stage of Asakti, we get Swarupa Abhasa. Until the stage of Asakti, we are doing Bhakti Abhasa. Means all we are doing looks like Bhakti, but we haven't entered into pure devotional service. But by the stage of Ruchi, and let me put it this way, this will sound more relevant for us. When the changes happen within us, and when we start to perceive our Swarupa vaguely, and when we are able to practice Bhakti with great taste, that is called Ruchi. And as the journey progresses, we will be able to, that is Ruchi, and when we are able to perceive our Swarupa vaguely, and there is no more external or internal thing that would disturb us from Bhakti, that vague perception of our Swarupa under the guidance of Raganugas, that is the key point. Raganugas are the Vrajavasis. So in the stage, in bhajan, by the time one comes to this Nishta and Ruchi, when anarthas are almost gone, they have a strong desire to serve Lord Krishna in one of the rasas. So they would want to know more about a Raga Bhakta. So that Raga Bhakta will help this sadhaka to know his Siddha Swarupa. That juncture where we get to know a little information about our original Swarupa, that stage is called Asakti. That is called Swarupa Abhasa. Vague idea of what our spiritual inclination is and how we want to serve Bhagavan. That happens in Asakti. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Okay. So if nobody has anything else, then we can pause here. Okay. Thank you all so much for your association. Balabhadra ki jai, Balaram Purnima ki jai, Sri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Prema.